10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this episode of the Wrestle Talk Podcast. I am the one, the only, of course, ladies and gentlemen, I am Luke Roberts, the Hall of Famer, and as you see here right now, we're getting a few things taken care of here on the program tonight. We have a great show lined up for you. We've got such great things as the Shoot and Shout, the Snippets of Truth. We also have the FWWC. And, of course, we have our guests tonight from the wonderful world of Southern Illinois Championship Wrestling that are going to be joining us in the 8 o'clock hour. From top to bottom, a great show. And, of course, make it a point, hashtag such things as hashtag WTP, hashtag Let's Talk Wrestling. Make sure to be communicating with us. And as we can see right here, we've already got Susie Hoss chiming in here this evening as a part of the program. I already know, as a matter of fact, that our guest is on the line as well. He's already tuning in, and we've got him taken care of here. We're going to be getting things ready to go here momentarily. But at this point in time, you can't have the Wrestle Talk Podcast without my co-host, my colleague, my co-conspirator, if you will. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the owner of Doomed Outfitters, and he's an all-around good guy. Ladies and gentlemen, Ace joining us here on the program this evening. Ace, how in the world are you doing, my friend? It's been a long time.
Oh, man, I'm doing great. And as you see, most of the people, especially Susie, when she found out I was hosting, she just pops up in the comments. She's here to see me, pretty much like most of them on here. But, yeah, I can't complain, man. Doing great. It's been a great new year so far.
I can agree with you. Again, it's been kind of wild here in the greater St. Louis area. I mean, again, when you talk about things, one day it's 20 degrees. Next day, I think they're projecting mid-60s for us here tomorrow in St. Louis. But you know something? It may be warm, but it's always hot right here on the Wrestle Talk Podcast.
Yes. And I'm in South Georgia, and right this minute, it's like in the morning time, it's about 40 degrees, if not like lower. And then you turn around and by lunchtime, it's in the 70s. So it is ridiculous. Everybody down here is getting just ridiculously sick from it.
Oh, I understand entirely. And again, I want to give a shout out to another longtime friend of the show and a member of the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, Executive Director Jimmy Big Time Harris. He's also been kind of hit by the bug as well. I mean, again, it is wreaking havoc on everybody. But again, it's one of those things. It's the wonderful world of 2026 here in the beautiful United States of America. And before we get started here tonight, Ace, I got to ask you, did you get a chance to catch anything or follow up anything? I know it's kind of a mixed bag. Have you had a chance to catch up with anything regarding Wrestle Kingdom?
Wrestle Kingdom? Not yet. I've tried. I've actually taken on a different position at work, so it's hit and miss on how much I'm able to watch recently. I got to be honest. So some of it is just me catching up online after the fact. So I hadn't caught up on anything yet, but I'm looking forward to it. So,
well, I tell you right now, from what I've heard from a lot of people, if you haven't had a chance to catch Wrestle Kingdom, you need to make it a point to check that out again. Hiroshi Tanahashi's last match, wrestling Okada, a lot of great action as well that took place there. Make it a point, check it out on New Japan World. You know something, Ace? Before we get started here tonight, we do need to make it a point. We've got all of our great fans, and again, hashtag WTP, hashtag Let's Talk Wrestling. Let's make it a point to get those in there. Again, we're going to be joined by the great folks over at SICW here in a little bit under an hour now. We're going to be talking about their great event this coming Saturday night in Belleville, Illinois at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds. Going to have a lot of great information to share there as well. But before we get things started, and again, make sure to share us out to your friends, to your family, to your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, your aunts, your uncles, and any other professional wrestling fan. Like I said, 533 episodes and going strong here on the Wrestle Talk Podcast. Sorry, 532. I got prefaced that here. But right now, as it stands, before we get too much farther along, let's go ahead. And again, the fans are one part, the hosts are another, the wrestling is a third. But when it comes down to it, the Wrestle Talk Podcast wouldn't be where it is today without its great sponsors. We want to thank all those sponsors. Retro Zone, Painter's Dream Production, home of the one, the only Big Daddy P, the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, which I'm going to let you know more information about this year's induction class will be coming out very, very soon. Of course, we would be remiss without talking about Doomed Outfitters. For you name it, they can put it on it. Doomed Outfitters. World Domination Wrestling Alliance, WDWA, home of those great folks over at WDWA Elevation, and the FWWC, the world's premier fantasy wrestling group, all great sponsors of the Wrestle Talk Podcast. Now, Ace, I know on the last program we had the opportunity here to talk about the year in review. I got to ask now, since we're kind of out of the holiday season, as you would, how did you get anything to that really kind of piqued your curiosity when it came to the holiday season?
Yeah, I mean, I really did. It was just outside, and I'm not getting into politics. I'm not in all that. Outside of some of the stuff that's been going on with that, there's some stuff wrestling wise that like really piqued my interest. AJ Styles, just kind of getting into that right this minute. I heard that he was supposed to be kind of ending his run probably this year. Brock Lesnar, obviously, is this year is fixing to retire. I'm wondering if they're going to have Gunther do the same thing. Because AJ Styles, he's got a little bit left in him, but I'm pretty sure Gunther's going to be one to take him out. My question is this though: how many legends are they going to let Gunther take out? He's already done Cena, he's done Goldberg, he's done several of them already, just dominated. So. Who's next on the list as far as that? That's what I'm looking forward to, because you got a lot of people retiring this year, really. So,
well, right now, I mean, again, that's one thing. It was kind of ironic that he actually got to speak last night on Monday Night Raw. I was hoping they were going to boo him out of the arena again, and that's one thing we got to look at too. There were a lot of great things that happened on the new season, I guess you would call it, of Monday Night Raw. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on, but before we get things going here, I want to go ahead as our longtime broadcast colleague, the one, the only Nightmare Jones. He started this tradition a long time ago, and Ace, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to give you the opportunity to do something that I know we've talked about it off air. We've had the opportunity that you have been waiting for.
That's right.
And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to turn things over to you as we go ahead and take care of another little piece of business that we do each and every time we bring the Wrestle Talk Podcast to the airwaves. So, Ace, if you'd be so kind, I'm going to go ahead and throw it to you.
All right, people. Now, to celebrate this great nation, we have to have one of the greatest singers ever sing our national anthem. So without further ado, everybody put your hand over your heart, remove your hat, ignore my baldness, and let's listen to the beauty of our national anthem sung by Roseanne Barr.
All right.
That gets me every time. It hits right here in the smushy spot.
Well, you know something here, as we look at what's here, I mean, again, We also want to make sure, besides the fact we make sure we take care of that each and every time we're on the program, we also want to make sure to give a shout out to all of the first responders in our military who are protecting us each and every episode, so that we make sure that we can continue to do what we enjoy each and every week here on the program. And you know something, guys? Again, if you have questions, thoughts, comments, things along the lines, make sure to share them in the comments section. We got a lot of great comments that come through here each and every time we bring the Wrestle Talk podcast to the airwaves.
You just said their ears are bleeding, right? You know, that's.
Well, you know something. It's one of those, Susie. It's a very, when it comes to Roseanne, it is a very acquired taste when it comes to that rendition. I know that it's one of Joe Lance's personal favorites. And we also, too, again, want to give a shout out to our good friend Tom Simon as well. I know he's had a couple of instances where we've had his rendition just to kind of break things up. But you know, it's okay. We're good, and we're going to be good. We can go. But right now, as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead here as we go through the magic wonders of technology, and I'm going to go ahead here in just a second. And this is something I haven't heard in a while, and I'm going to tell you right now, it always gets me fired up, and I want to give a shout out to our good friend DJ Money. He's been doing a lot of things. He's been working on Bryant Hill, a lot of great things. And if you want to purchase your Bryant Hill products, make it a point to check them out online. They are now taking online orders for the 2026 year. And from my understanding, too, is the idea of where they're only making in limited supply. They're not doing like second and third and fourth runs. Once they're gone, they're gone. And again, a lot of great products, including they are once again having out the Luke Gallows collection. That's, you heard that right. The Big LG is has a collection named after him, and he has regularly used the product. It's not just like a shameless, shallow endorsement. He actually uses the product on a regular basis and makes sure to take care of things. So make it a point to stop by, check out our guys over at Bryant Hill. And a matter of fact, while you're checking them out, you can be listening to the great introduction he created for us for the High Spot segment right here on the Wrestle Talk podcast.
Mic check, mic check. Yeah. All right. Wrestle Talk podcast. DJ Money. Yeah. Let's go. Welcome to High Spots, where we pop news like clear chops. We dog shop, coming through the screens of a laptop and non-stop like a runner speakers of blacktop. We hit hard like chair shots and backdrops, like a clock flash, look like a belly flop. Now that's hard. We up to speed while they stay slow. Wrestle Talk podcast, now they know we about to start the show.
Hey, you know something? Right now, things have been going well. 2026 is on a roll. And you know something? There's been a lot of great wrestling action to talk about. I mean, again, we had WWE Raw last night starting their season number 2 on Netflix. We also have the opportunity to talk about Wrestle Kingdom. We got a lot of great things going on in the world of professional wrestling. And again, there's a lot of different topics to talk about here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hopefully I can get this done right, because I know there's been certain members of our program, I won't mention any names, are seen, who like to make issue here. But I'm going to go ahead and hit the randomizer. Hopefully it works. I mean, again, it hasn't worked totally right since Jeremy Karp was on the program last, but that's okay. We'll get it taken care of. We're going to go ahead and hit the randomizer and get things ready for our first question here tonight on the High Spot segment. So here we go. All right, we've got our first question up here on the screen. And as a matter of fact, we're going to go ahead and bring that up here as we talk about the idea of the 2026 Royal Rumble is going to be taking place on Saturday, January 31st in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And I'm going to tell you right now, as it stands here, this is going to be definitely an interesting event. I'm going to tell you right now, to me, I think this is making a huge statement for the WWE. The idea of having such a big event and such a marquee event. I mean, I know for a fact full well it starts the road to WrestleMania. I mean,
Sure.
this is the pay-per-view. I mean, with the exception of WrestleMania, this is the big show. This is the event everybody wants to see. And now that it's going to be overseas, I know a lot of people are fired up about the idea, well, why wasn't it in the UK? Why wasn't it in Canada? Why wasn't it with the current working agreement? Why didn't we visit the idea of maybe it being in Mexico? Maybe it could have been in Puerto Rico. We've had a lot of great connections with TKO as of late. But right now, as it stands, we're going to go ahead and see our first main level pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia. Now, Ace, I'm going to throw this to you. And again, through the wonderful world of technology, I'm going to go ahead and look up because, I mean, granted, we're about 3-ish weeks out. I'm actually going to look and see if anybody has actually officially declared for the Royal Rumble. So, Ace, I'm going to go ahead and throw this to you as it relates to your thoughts on the Royal Rumble. And also, before I do, our good buddy Sonny Money Mayo in the house here tonight watching the Wrestle Talk podcast.
Mr. Sonny. Let's see. Well, the question that runs with it here, we're going to pull that back up. Let's see. Well, so my thoughts on the Royal Rumble being overseas. For one, it's all about the money. We've already discussed that. You got to chase the money. And when it comes to paying, I mean, let's be honest, man. Them guys over in Saudi Arabia are just outrageous. I mean, generously paying these guys to come over here and bring WWE over there to that country. So why would anybody in their right mind turn it down? Now, let's get into the actual Rumble itself. Man. Me personally, I honestly think for the women's division, I'd like to see Bayley win. I know she's been on this really funk here lately, and even though the spot would be great given to like a up-and-comer from NXT, Bayley actually deserves at least that last little run with her. Let her win the Rumble, going into WrestleMania, have one last, because I don't really think she's got much longer, really. Bayley's kind of, not saying she's played out, but Bayley has had this career that has been almost, I'm not saying she's accomplished everything, but one last run with the title and then call it quits, kind of sitting back, taking a different role. I would like to see Bayley win as far as the women's deal. With the men, hands down, everybody knows I'm going with my boy LA Knight. I know he's been in a funk. I know they've taken him off. If you look at some of why he's off the screen right this minute, he's been sick. I reckon is what they said. He had an issue with some health issues, or been sick with flu or something. I think 2026 is going to be a huge year for him. I really think right before the Rumble, I'm pretty sure Braun Breaker is going to take the belt if they don't keep it on CM Punk. Now, if they keep it on CM Punk all the way until WrestleMania, hands down, LA Knight's fixing to win, and he's going on to WrestleMania to win the belt. I don't see Breaker winning it anytime soon if he don't win it like now. You know what I mean? Which takes us back to last night with Raw. We'll discuss that later. But for my guys, for the pick with the guys, LA Knight. The pick with the girls, I say Bayley. That's the only one that really makes sense. What do you think?
Well, I got to tell you right now, Ace, I agree with a lot of your comments, but there's a couple people, kind of sleeper picks that a lot of people are wondering about. One is the idea of, do we see AJ Styles? I mean, again, he's in the twilight. That's one of the things I don't believe he's ever won has been a Royal Rumble. That'd be something that would be a nice feather in the cap. I mean, again, Gunther's definitely there. I could see a Braun Breaker being there. One that I really think very well may be a couple of different avenues. I'm gonna go for my sleeper pick, and my sleeper pick is going to be Austin Theory.
Ooh, that's a good one.
The idea of where you start to cause that little bit of friction within the vision, and again, we try to figure out what's going on. Could there be that connection between him and Seth Rollins? I mean, again, that's what's there. To me, on the women's side, I'm going to have another one that a lot of people haven't talked a lot about, and I think she definitely deserves it. Natalya.
That's a good one.
We talked about somebody who's had a lot of credit. I mean, again, she's been training a lot of wrestlers down in Florida. As a matter of fact, it's no secret. It's pretty much well known across the world of social media is that she was one of the big people behind the rise of Maxine Dupree in winning the Intercontinental title. I think that would be A definitely good thing here, as we see right here, Susie Haas throwing out, wanting to see L.A. I'm not going to finish it because I would wind up getting hit with copyright, but as we see what's there, want to give a shout out to, again, we mentioned his name and kind of like Beetlejuice, he appears, Jeremy Cart being here on the program.
Here.
But, we're also traveling all across the country. Got some love out here from the East Coast, Rick Del Santo, Wrestling Wire. Check them out as well. They've had an opportunity to have us on the program before. Make it a point to check them out. A lot of great programming there. And, of course, give a shout out to our good friend Jim Harris. Get well soon, Jimmy. I know you're kind of under the weather, but he's going to be springing back here real soon. As we take that here. And again, another one that's thrown out here. I'm going to throw this one up here. Susie Haas, just keep chiming them in. Maxine Dupree. I got to tell you right now, there's a lot of things. And here's the crazy thing. As of course, my computer decided, or my camera decides wants to take a trip. When it looks at it right here, you're looking at things from a perspective of we're 3 weeks out and nobody's declared.
That's true.
I mean, again, we should be seeing that sooner rather than later. I mean, you've got things like the Vision. You've got things like the Americanos. I mean, we still have a lot of things looking at it. The idea of looking at the likes of maybe we see Chad Gable, or the return of American Made, or we could also see the idea, and a lot of people have been saying, what's going to happen with the Americanos. A lot of things going on right now in the WWE that are definitely very interesting. Again, you have your picks. Go ahead and throw them out here onto the social media here, onto our comment section. Also, as a reminder, hashtag WTP, hashtag Let's Talk Wrestling here on the program. Let me go ahead here, Ace. I'm going to go ahead and hit the randomizer again for our next High Spots question. Ooh. This one is going to be an interesting question. Let me go ahead here. I'm trying to get some of our tech issues taken care of, and I think that's one of the things I need for a belated Christmas gift. I think I need a new camera, because my camera's been going all sorts of crazy as of late. But here is the question we have here. Media sources are saying that Tommaso Ciampa will not be renewing his contract. What does the future hold for Tommaso Ciampa? Now, I'm going to tell you right now here, as we go ahead and we take that graphic down, I'm going to say something here which is going to surprise a lot of people. Personally, I love Tommaso Ciampa. I think he's a great in-ring competitor. He gives it all inside the squared circle. Everything's good to go. But I can't believe I'm going to say this. I don't really see a fit for him right now. I mean, I look at it, would I love him to be able to go to like a New Japan and be there? I would love to see him there, but I don't think, especially after the issues he's had with his neck, I don't know if he's going to be able to handle the wear and tear. I don't see right now. I know AEW would love to have him. Maybe a return, if you will, to his original stomping grounds with ROH. I really am torn here. I don't know where he should really wind up. And I'm going to throw this one up here. And again, this shows you how quick this is. Susie chimes in almost immediately with AEW. Yeah. But then look at this one.
Exactly. I'm just reading that too. And it's just like, yeah, I got to agree though. In all honesty, I don't really, and I hate to say it this way because I love his talent. It's not that he's lacking in talent whatsoever. My problem with him is I don't see him fitting in anywhere outside of maybe on the indie scene. Go back to the indies, just kind of play around there. I think if he goes to AEW is going to waste him. And they have a history of doing that. They will push the guys that, let's be honest, they couldn't cut it in WWE. That's just all it is. They couldn't get over in WWE. They go to AEW. They somewhat get big, kind of owning their own minds there. And then they think they're hot stuff, even though they just dropped the ball with them and they're completely made a joke over in AEW. And I think they're going to do the same thing with him. So I don't want to see him go to AEW. I would like to see him possibly in TNA. Okay, if he steps over in TNA, he's got the talent to really lead that locker room and be, even if from a manager's role, I could see him taking somebody under his wing and being like that manager role over in TNA. I just don't see him fitting in WWE anywhere else or any other promotion. NWA is actually making a big comeback here recently. He could possibly go over there. I mean, less strain on his schedule. I'm not saying anything against like less talent, but you don't see the type matches that are just over the top, overly extreme over in the NWA. You still see more your classic, hard-hitting, more storytelling outside of the overly athletic matches, and that's what we all grew up watching with NWA. So I would like to see him do that, especially with his injuries. I don't want to see him just completely stop wrestling, but I don't want to necessarily see him wasted either. So definitely not AEW.
Well, something here, and again, this is kind of a strange thing with seeing what's here. The Night Owl and Susie Haas have been kind of going back and forth here in the chat. And Night Owl brings up a very valid point.
That's
if they
true.
wouldn't pay Cross, why would they pay Ciampa? And I'm going to tell you right now, I think that's what a lot of promotions are going to be looking at, because he's done great things. I mean, I have no qualms about it. Matter of fact, here in the Midwest, stand out at the Harley race camp that was held several years ago.
Yeah, now I got to pull this comment up because I got to be the hater on this one here. It says Jon Moxley did well, but he needs to come back to WWE. No, hell no. In any form or fashion, does that garbage need to step anywhere near WWE? Okay, he couldn't cut it. He was like the lowest of the Shield. The man was barely noticeable. He was just toxic to the whole place. Even over in AEW, he is more of a glorified stunt dummy. Okay, he's not a performer. He's not a pro wrestler. He's a stunt dummy that is probably a shame to that style of wrestling. I'm sorry. I that's my hating on that man. Don't bring him back anywhere near the big stage.
Well, yeah, I'm going to disagree with you. I think, to me, while I think he really was the third wheel in the Shield, I can see that, because I mean, look at what Seth Rollins, look at what Roman Reigns did within the company. And yes, Susie, I know it's in the chat. I'm not even going to bring it up at this point.
Okay.
Now you're going to bring it up to give her more fire to go with this, Ace. I see how it is. But something, and again, I'll tell you right.
Yeah, if I was on oxygen in a wheelchair, sure.
Yeah. Ooh, you're going to be here. But something, when you look at Jon Moxley, I think AEW has lit a new fire under him. I really do.
Yeah.
I think that it's something he's given him an opportunity. It's given him a chance to recharge his batteries. Do we see him going to WWE? I don't think so. Mm-hmm. I think Jon Moxley is going to be one of those that's going to float around promotions. We've seen it before. He could wind up, if he doesn't wind up getting a bunch of money from AEW, maybe it's something he goes to places like Game Changer.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, again, they had a lot of issues with him, and they recently rehired Matt Cardona, which, again, I'm very happy for, and I'll put that one there.
I kind of like that. I love it. Now, is he going back to the Zack Ryder thing, or is he going to stay Matt, though? That's what I'm
My understanding is when they brought him out on SmackDown, they kind of did like they did with Kenta.
Mm-hmm.
When they Hideo Itami, they had Zack Ryder, and then all of a sudden it went out, and then they put Matt Cardona. So my understanding is Zack Ryder, and I think he put it on his X account as well, talking about the idea of saying, "Hey,
Zach,
this is what's here." But Susie's just firing them off tonight here on the program. We need some people that are going to stand up and challenge Susie here tonight on the Wrestle Talk podcast, because she's constantly putting them out there. But something? I mean, again, Jon Moxley has a lot that he can do. That's true. I mean, that is his claim to fame. But when it comes down to it, Matt Cardona is one of those guys that definitely, I think, belongs in there. And for the record, I'm going to throw this out here.
He's a ripoff, Susie. He's a ripoff.
And on that note, we're going to go ahead and Ace, considering the fact that I've had the kind of this bad karma about making it. Hey, hold up, stop. We're gonna grind this to a halt real quick, because right now, as you see here on the program, AJ Wallace has joined us here. His official appearance here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. Happy 2026. AJ is always trying to check up on the Wrestle Talk podcast. I know he's here. I know he's going to be firing off tons of questions as it relates to our interview regarding this coming Saturday night's event for SICW. Again, I know he's going to be on the program here in just a minute. Ace, since I've had all this great technical problems, like every time I hit the randomizer, my camera goes haywire, all this kind of stuff. Knowing my luck, I'll hit the randomizer again. You see the masks I have back here. I actually got a couple more of those for Christmas, which I thought were really cool. But knowing my luck, if I touch the randomizer anymore tonight, I'm going to knock that camera down and knock the camera down. Then I'm going to knock the masks off the shelf. And then the next thing you know, my whole office is going to go all sorts of out of sorts. So I'm going to go ahead and let you hit the randomizer here. And hold up. We got more coming back in here. Drew. What's that coming back in here as well? That's okay. We're going to hope everything's well. Thank you for joining us.
I prematurely randomized it there, so that was on me.
Hey, you randomized it because of people coming back on the program. Very much appreciate it. Now, let's go ahead for real.
Okay, let's see what we got
this time. Let's go ahead and hit the randomizer for our next question.
Okay, we're going to let's see what pulls up for LA Knight.
All right, as we see here, LA Knight up here on the screen. This is one that's interesting. Is LA Knight wasting his talent in the WWE? This is definitely one that's gonna throw out a lot of questions.
So I'll go ahead and start this one because that's my boy. I love some LA Knight. You got to think of what is technically being wasted. If from a performer standpoint, if you are having exposure and you are on TV and you are in these main event matches, whether you're losing or not, you're still being put in title matches. You're put in main event matches. You're put in positions to where you are getting the exposure that main event talent would get. So I don't necessarily think it's being wasted. Do I feel that they could do more and they need to go ahead and pull the trigger on him? By all means, man, pull the trigger on him. Let him be the champ already. Let him get that big match. Don't let his career be like the Dusty Rhodes of this era, to where he's there. He's a legend. He's get the spotlight. He'll go out eventually as one of the greatest, eventually, and never win the big time. And I think that's what the problem is. And I think that may be something that he's leaning to.
Well, something as we look at what's here, to me, LA Knight is getting a very, very slow build.
Yeah.
And I like your analogy there. The idea of saying that he could very well be the Dusty Rhodes of our generation. Mm-hmm. And this is going to sound really strange, but I want to throw this one out here. To me, LA Knight has a lot of characteristics, almost like a blend between Dusty Rhodes and Steve Austin.
Oh, exactly.
Or Dusty Rhodes and The Rock.
Yep.
He has more charisma than a lot of wrestlers do.
Oh, for sure.
But when it comes down to it, it seems like the fans are like, give him a championship. Give him something to push him to that next level. And it seems like when he gets it, it's not that he's complacent. It's just like the crowd goes, meh.
Much like
it's like what Excalibur says on AEW. You got to give the people what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case here, you give the people what they want, and they sit on their hands.
Yeah.
If you're going to go out there and you want to give him that, and again, he deserves that opportunity. I mean, The man has done phenomenal in the ring. And just to let you know, for any of us that's listening here on the program, make it a point. Also, before he goes to a place like TNA, check him out in the NWA. He had a very good series of matches with Scrap Iron Adam Pearce over the NWA World title. I mean, again, had a lot of great matches. But again, it's one of those where things are going on. Also, as a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I always mess that up. It's like bell, like, subscribe. I think that's what it is. Hopefully I got it right. But I mean, to me, I think it's one of those with LA Knight. LA Knight's in a situation where he's got to do something. And you brought up the idea of maybe him winning the Royal Rumble, maybe him getting that opportunity. But there's so many people at the front of the pack right now.
Yeah, that's true.
There are so many people.
Do you think what they would do is give him the Cody Rhodes treatment? And what I mean by that is, okay, for years, everybody wanted Cody Rhodes to win the belt. When he was chasing the belt, oh my God, he was on fire, man. The fans went nuts over the storyline. Once he won it, it's almost like people turned on him. And I'm afraid that's kind of what's going to happen with LA Knight. They're going to have this whole, everybody's pushing for him to win the belt. And when he finally does, then he falls off and everybody turns on him. So I don't want to see that happen to him by no means. But at the same time, man, just give him a run with it. I mean, they put it on Jey Uso of all people instead of LA Knight. And you seen what he done with it. Jey Uso, I mean, I think David Arquette had a better run with the belt than Jey Uso. I mean, and David Arquette won the WCW title. You know, I had to clue y'all in a little bit.
Well, you know something too, as we sit here, and I'm actually going to, I got a message here, and I'm going to put up the message here in just a minute. You know, when you look at LA Knight, though, there's a difference. And he brought up a great comparison between LA Knight and Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes winning the title and the crowd just kind of going mild, if you will, for it. But you know something? LA Knight has something to me that's a little bit different. He has that gift of gab.
Yeah.
He has that quick wit. He has a lot of the same kinds. A lot of people say he's a Rock ripoff.
Mm-hmm.
But you know something? If you get somebody who's that quick and that sharp, that may be what he needs. Give him that opportunity, and boom, he could turn around and just. It's to quote a line that he used a lot in TNA. Maybe for him, it's just a fact of life.
Oh, yeah. And you know, for everybody that says he's a ripoff, okay, seriously, grow up and watch the actual shows, because literally the show has been around. Wrestling has been around for over 100 years. And everybody, even some of our favorite legends, is a ripoff of somebody else. So, I mean, even the Nature Boy, the greatest of all time, is a ripoff. So you can't say, oh, well, he's a ripoff. We're just not going to pull for him, or he don't deserve it because he copied somebody else. Okay, so did Flair, so did Shawn Michaels, so did Bret Hart, so did Steve Austin, so did Triple H. I mean, literally everybody copied somebody else. Even Hulk Hogan copied somebody else. So, I mean, I think it's an unfair deal to say that he's just a ripoff and he don't deserve to be where he's at, you know. So that's just my take on some of your internet fans, which we all know internet fans got to be some of the lamest ones, but, you know, just saying.
Well, you know something, Ace? And again, this was brought up. I had to share this because this was a message I got from one of our viewers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's somebody we've completely left out of the picture because of things completely outside of his control.
Ooh. Do you think he's going to be healed in time, though? That's the thing. What is his injury, by the way? Because I knew he was hurt, but I don't know exactly what the injury was.
Last time I heard, I thought it was something of a shoulder strain. Thankfully, it wasn't a shoulder separation or anything like that. You know something? And I want to kind of, again, I've got one of those moments where I'm just bouncing here, there, and everywhere today. I want to talk about the last AAA event and a match that really kind of just amazed me. It was, I believe it was Laredo Kid, Javon Evans, and Jack Cartwheel. It wasn't a traditional wrestling match to me. But some of the things that these men were able to pull out, I think at one point there was actually a DDT destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, how in the world can these men be that athletic to be able to take care of what needs to be done? It was amazing. But going back to what was there, we kind of diverted here. They need to do something with LA Knight. They can't let it sit. They let it sit. It is, as they say, the bloom is off the rose.
Oh, yeah.
And if that's the case, we're going to have some definite issues. Now, we got 2 questions left here, and I know for a fact that I know both of them because I put both of them here in the meeting. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to hit the randomizer. And I think both these questions are going to be ones that our viewers are going to definitely have their say. So let's go ahead and hit the randomizer real quick. Wait a minute. This one is here. I'll tell you this. That's going to be one of our topics here. And again, he's probably going to blow up the Wrestle Talk podcast with comments here momentarily, talking about Big Nasty Glenn Williams here on the program. But right now, as we see here, let's go ahead. Since the randomizer did what needed to be done, let's go ahead and throw up our question here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. That makes more sense. I was like, what?
We'll go ahead and actually put the. We'll throw it. How invested are you in a WWE return by Chris Jericho? Ace, I'm gonna throw it to you.
If he comes back as our Chris Jericho, and what I mean by that is I love what he done with AEW, but at the same time, I don't think that particular how can I put that? I don't think he's going to be good enough. I don't think that's going to fit in the modern WWE. I really don't. I think he needs to go back to the Chris Jericho that everybody knows and be. He said, "Don't blame the randomizer." Yeah, I know it. So, okay. I would like to see him come back. I just don't want to see what I see in AEW, if that makes sense. I want to see the older persona of Chris Jericho. Bring back the list, if anything. Bring back the attitude he had with when he was going against Shawn Michaels and, guys like Kurt Angle and stuff like that. That's what I want to see. I think he kind of watered himself down a lot when he went to AEW.
Well, you know something right now? And you don't see me get too aggravated. I'm usually pretty calm, pretty cool. I mean, after all, I am a Hall of Famer, I don't use that card too often.
But it's well earned, so,
That is true in the eyes of many. But here's the question.
Too old.
Too old.
Never say that. Ooh.
This is the one that gets me. I'm going to tell you right now, I beg to differ. And you know what it is? And it's something I was taught a long time ago. And I know that as soon as I say this, our guest who's backstage, our SICW guest is backstage. And I'm going to tell you right now, as it stands, when you're in the wrestling industry, one of the greatest things to ensure success is always staying ahead of the curve. Chris Jericho has always stayed ahead of the curve. And here's my view. You look at what AEW's done. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what it is? It's a warm-up act. Imagine what it's like. I mean, granted, Tony Khan, AEW money, TKO money. We're not going to squabble over semantics.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine if you got a learning tree or the Ocho on WWE programming.
Yeah.
Also another avenue, and I know he's done it, and I know he probably, if he were to come back to the WWE, would probably have some connection to it. Imagine how much more draw it would have for things like the Rock and Wrestling Rager.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's one of those where when it comes down to it, lots of money is still on the table with Chris Jericho. And, here's the deal, and I'm going to put this out here. Susie, you and I are going to agree to disagree here, and I guess this is going to be kind of fired up here tonight. And I'm not blaming the randomizer. I'm going to get on my soapbox for once. You know something? Chris Jericho has consistently stayed away, and again, I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed on this. For the most part, Jericho has stayed away from the injury bug.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, he talks about his struggles with his back issues. And hold on, I gotta stop right here. My Hall of Fame brother, Doc Lombardi, joining us here on the program tonight as well, making sure that we're here and joining the program. I like that new graphic, Doc, by the way. I really do. Here's the idea. Minus the back issues. Took care of those primarily using DDPY. I remember hearing the stories back in the days, getting ready for that first real big to-do in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and he breaks his arm and still wrestles the match. He doesn't go back. And again, the Night Owl bringing this up, that's what I see. I genuinely see Chris Jericho as a man. It's weird. Everything he touches, he makes work. Chris, and again, have you seen Chris Jericho lately?
Yeah, he's looking good.
What, early 50s?
Yeah. And
he looks like he's mid to late 30s. I mean, he looks to be in some of the best shape in his life. He's constantly evolving. And I got to tell you right now, I would love, and again, check this one out. LA Knight and Chris Jericho.
Ooh.
Not just for a match, but just give them a war of words on the mic. That would remind me a lot of a CM Punk MJF situation.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and when you said something that really sticks out, evolved. That's something that Chris Jericho has always done. He's adapted. He's always evolved from the time he went from WCW, jumped over ECW, jumped to WWF at the time, which now WWE. Regardless of where he goes, even from WWE over to AEW, he's always been able to revamp his image and just adapt to where he's at and make it work very successfully. I mean, there's not a time that man's music hits, whether he's the heel, whether he's the face, it doesn't matter. Then people can boo him out the arena when they stop singing, but they're going to sing his music as soon as it hits. And I think that's going to be a huge thing. I want to see him bring that music over to WWE because, oh my God, can you imagine the reaction that he's going to have if he brings that same theme song and that place is going to erupt? I mean, that's going to be some of the loudest singing you're ever hearing outside of them singing Randy Orton's music. So I would like to at least see him keep the music and just kind of do something new, kind of like Renee said, do something new. And Jericho, of all people, is capable of pulling that off. Bring something, a new idea, a new version of Chris Jericho, especially now he's older, he's a lot wiser, way more experienced. And I mean, come on, you're looking at I'm going to say it, almost like a Ric Flair persona in a way. He has that swagger that he could pull that off, being like, hey, you know what? Especially, can you imagine him and CM Punk? CM Punk's like, oh, hey, I'm the best in the world. And then Jericho, wham, he comes out with this swagger of being like, you know what? I've kicked your ass several times, so I'm still better than you regardless. You know what I mean? I would love to see that.
You know, Ace, I'm gonna set the Wrestle Talk podcast ablaze here right now. My tribute to Chris Jericho.
Armbar, there you go.
Trust me, that's one of the 1,004 holds. But you know something, Ace? We got time for one more question. And again, I'm gonna tell you right now, we've been getting some comments here and things here. There have been some people who've made some not so nice comments.
Susie's on a roll, man. I don't know what her problem is.
No. I'm not going there. I'm talking about people saying that if we don't share, if we don't get more likes, Cardi B is going to host WrestleMania.
Oh man, we can't do that now.
Or if we don't get more likes, I'm going to go back here and look at another one that's there. I'm not blaming the randomizer on that one. That's just mean. I mean, that's just one of those where let's not go there. But when it comes down to it, I mean, again, Jericho is going to make it work.
Yeah.
And again, that's just the way it is and the way it's going to be. Let's go ahead. We got one more question.
All right.
Okay. And you know what? Hey, the Hall of Famers keep popping in tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That's not the one that's there. We can pop this one in here. Nikki O'Shaughnessy joining us here on the program as well.
Okay, that's like the coolest last name ever.
That is true. That is true. And you know something right now, again, I wish I could start kind of throwing some things out there tonight. I really do. I'm just having to bite my tongue because there's so much good stuff that's going to be coming out with the Hall of Fame. And again, shout out to the great folks of the Wrestle Talk Podcast who once again supporting the 2026 induction ceremony. Again, make it a point. It's going to be July 19th. It's going to be here in the St. Louis area. More information is going to be coming out soon. Make it a point to check them out because, again, it's a great experience. You learn about the true history of the St. Louis wrestling scene. And, again, I'm going to tell you right now, this class is another phenomenal induction class. And, again, you will not be disappointed with the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. Let's go ahead here real quick. I'm going to go ahead and hit that randomizer one more time. I got lucky last time in the idea that it didn't go crazy. So let's try it one more time. The randomizer for our final question here on the High Spot segment tonight.
Ready.
All right. Last question of the evening on the High Spots segment. After Braun Breaker's defeat last night on Raw, where does he go next?
Ooh.
That's a question in itself right there, ladies and gentlemen. What is the next step for Braun Breaker? And to give you an idea, as we see with what's going on here, Braun Breaker is going to be, and I agree 100%, with that Paul Heyman guy, Consigliere. You don't get those kinds of names. You don't get those kinds of accolades. You don't get those kinds of recognitions if you don't see talent.
Mm-hmm.
And again, they've been talking about the idea that Braun Breaker is one of those, as long as he can stay healthy, is going to be an individual who's going to be in the main event picture for many, 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 many years to come.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you right now, every time I see him go up there and do that top rope Frankensteiner, I feel like I got transported back into the early 90s and seeing Scott throw that maneuver out there.
Yes, that was beautiful.
He's at the top of his game right now. You know, one of those that, and I'll tell you right now, how about this one down the road? Gunther and Braun Breaker.
Ooh. I got another one in mind, and I was thinking something similar. And think about this scenario, if you will. Royal Rumble comes around. Braun Breaker is dominating. You know he's going to come in about midway, if not closer to the end. All of a sudden, Brock Lesnar comes out. Them two take each other out, and it's Braun Breaker and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Because, you know, Lesnar ain't got much left. And I really don't want to see him against Gunther. Let's be honest. I really don't. I would rather see him against somebody else that is considered the next big thing. And the story writes itself. You got the next big thing against the former next big thing. You know, somebody has already been there, done that. With Paul Heyman, imagine the conflict there already. So I would love to see something happen at the Rumble where Breaker looks like he's fixing to win. You know what I'm saying? He's almost fixing to get that shot. But then Lesnar comes out, and all of a sudden it's Lesnar and Braun Breaker at WrestleMania. That's what I want to see.
You know, something that a lot of people have been talking about, and you said it earlier on the program. Are we going to get there? Because is Gunther going to be the one to put the kind of the monkey wrench into all this?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, it's one of those. And then here's another whose side is Paul Heyman on?
That's true. The only issue I see with last night, outside of the match being rushed, let's be honest, it felt very rushed. Them two had absolutely no chemistry. Braun Breaker, and let's ignore the unnecessary interference. I mean, I thought all of that was just completely out of whack. It wasn't needed in the match. It was already good enough. I believe that, honestly, they kind of weakened him a little bit. And I hate to say that because Braun Breaker is built to be the next big thing, right? So why in the world would you turn around and let him lose against somebody who is out of breath after 5 minutes? And everybody knows I'm strongly against CM Punk. I really don't think they should have put the title on him. He is somebody that is, at this point, he's not like Jericho. He did not age like fine wine. I mean, his age shows a lot. His slowness shows in his matches. The fact that he is definitely not in the same league as far as the speed, the strength, and the pure athletic ability that Braun Breaker has. That match should have went just like John Cena and Lesnar. Breaker should have walked in, crushed him, took the belt, walked away. You know what I mean? And I really I think last night in a way made not only Breaker look weak, but it made Division look weak. So the only way to save that image is to actually have him in a higher feud with somebody of a powerhouse level and then let him just dominate. Let him take that out and be like, hey, you know what? That was a fluke against the old man. Let me go ahead and beat, Lesnar or even Gunther, somebody like that, and then be done with it. And that way that saves his image and doesn't make him look like some weak, very, let's be honest, dumb. I mean, the whole match made him look dumb. I don't know if it made him look more animalistic than it did somebody that is learning the business. It just made him look like some mindless animal going out there being stupid.
You know something? I just got a message from our broadcast colleague, and you're going to know what's there. Since you're all up in arms about CM Punk, a man who's got the gift of gab, a man who has the ability, even though you say he slowed down a step, I got to disagree with you, Ace, because the way you've presented it, you're looking at this at WrestleMania next year. You're looking at CM Punk making his way down to the ring, and then he's going to, in your eyes, you're going to hear this. And again, that's one of those things. I wasn't referring to the retired Bill Goldberg. I was referring to our good friend Dwayne Gilbert Gill, Jeremy Carp's personal favorite wrestler. And again, I'm still never going to let him live that one down. Now, again, we're going to be joined here, and I just want to give you a heads up here. There's been a lot of commotion going on backstage in the green room. I was just made aware here a few moments ago that our scheduled guest this evening, Herb Simmons, has been called away at the last moment. But have no fear. SICW is going to be represented here in the house tonight. SICW will be joining us here in a little more than 10 minutes. And I'm going to tell you something. The guests they got lined up for us, holy cow. I am just ecstatic at the guest that's going to be here on the program in just a couple minutes. And you know something? As Corey Graves says,
very, very impressive.
As you see here, our guest, that fits him to a T. But before we take care of that, I do have one more little bit of business to take care of. And I already did it for the first time tonight. But we're going to go ahead and have you, Ace, talk about this. Because, again, we want to say thank you to all of our great followers here who've been keeping tabs on the show, making sure to put out the likes, the shares, the subscribes, putting the stars out there, hashtag WTP, the loyal Wrestle Talk Podcast family. But you know something? We do have to, again, as a reminder, since we're near the top of the hour.
Promotional consideration paid for by
All right. We are going to thank our sponsors, the Wrestle Talk Podcast. We'd like to thank all of our great sponsors, Retro Zone, Painter's Dream Production, the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, Doomed Outfitters, owned by yours truly, World Domination Wrestling Alliance, and the FWWC, the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion. Guys, if you have, or wrestling group, my bad. If y'all have not heard of any of these guys, check them out. I'm telling y'all, you don't know what you're missing. And once again, we could not do this without all these sponsors. So huge props and huge thanks to every single one of them.
And you know something, again, without the sponsors, that's just one piece of what makes the Wrestle Talk Podcast has gone as strong as it has for the last 532 episodes. They're consistently bringing things forward, making sure that we have the best guests, the best interviews, the best graphics, the best technology. I'm going to tell you right now, Ace, I remember back in the days with that other broadcasting software that was when this program was episode 1. I remember the days gone by. And I'm going to tell you right now, if it weren't for the viewers, if it weren't for the sponsors, if it weren't for all these great promotions that were helping us out each and every week. I mean, again, without the viewers and without all the people behind the scenes, MLW has been on the Wrestle Talk podcast. TNA has been on the Wrestle Talk podcast. ROH has been on the Wrestle Talk podcast. The NWA has been on the Wrestle Talk podcast. AAA has been on the Wrestle Talk podcast. Wrestlers from, I believe now it's 6 different countries have been on the Wrestle Talk podcast. And that's because of all of our great viewers and all of our great sponsors. But you know something? And I know this is going to make some people happy. I know it's going to make me happy. Ace, you and I have been kind of seeing eye to eye. But now it's going to be time for us to take care of a little piece of Wrestle Talk business. We're going to take care of a little bit of taking it back to the old school. Because it's now time for the one, the only, time for the shoot and shout segment right here on the Wrestle Talk podcast.
It's just one of those days when you don't want to wake up. Everything is fun, everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you want to justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life's on contract. Your best bet's to stay away, motherfucker. It's just one of those days. It's all about the he says, she says, bullshit.
You know, we had to get the horn in there. You know something, guys? I'm just going to level with you here tonight. And again, it's going to be kind of a simple to the point one here. And it's just going to be very, very straightforward. A lot of people talk about the idea if things don't go the way you want them to, make it a point and take care of them. Mm-hmm. You would not believe the number of people I've seen, especially over the last few weeks, that if something doesn't go their way, they want to yell and complain and whine and cry and you name it. If you don't like how things are going, then step up and do something about it. Don't complain. Don't blame somebody else. Step up and do what needs to be done. To give you an idea, there are so many things you can accomplish. But I tell a lot of my friends this. You got to take that first step. And a lot of people, their first step is the complaint. The first step is that opportunity where they go out there and they say, oh, well, so-and-so did this or so-and-so did that. No, if you're going to make things right, if you're going to be the best person you can be, then step up and do something about it. Don't blame others. That's my shoot and shout here tonight on episode 532. Ace, I know you're in the place. It's time for you and your shoot and shout here this evening.
I kind of feel the same way. And I want to go ahead and say this. And this is something I have a huge problem with because the older I get, and I feel that it's more of a issue with entitlement. And I feel the same way. If there's a problem with something, especially with how things are going with a generational thing, do something about it. I mean, I believe that there is a whole generation of just over-entitled, over-spoiled brats. That's just all they are. And the line of work that I do, I see it almost every single day. And honestly, I blame a lot of it on technology. I blame a lot of it on the fact that we have made society so comfortable for these young people, even our own kids. You know, I believe that we have done that so many times that
Wait a minute. Hold on here.
There we go. All right.
Now you're good.
All right. So what I believe that we have done it like our grandpa. Let's put it that way. Our grandpas worked their butts off to make life easier for their kids. Okay. Then they turn around and our parents made life easier for us. And what did we do? We turned around and did the exact same thing. We turned around and made it so much easier for our kids. And now even us having grandkids, our grandkids are having iPhones and tablets and stuff that we would have never dreamed about at that age. We were still outside rocks and playing with sticks at that age. And so to me, it bothers me that kids are doing this whole, like over entitlement, and that's what really bothers me. And it's like that with, and I'll even relate it to wrestling. The over entitlement of some of these fans and some of these people are just completely stupid. Until you are yourself running a multi-billion-dollar company and you're the ones putting butts in seats, you're the one booking these matches, you're the ones making these deals to go overseas and taking care of the talent and handling all the things that come with running the business, keep your mouths shut about what you think should happen in the ring. And I believe that it's just one of those just irritating things to see people overly entitled to what they feel that it should happen in wrestling. And just like you said, if they don't get their way, oh, I'm not watching this show anymore. This show sucks. This, blah, blah, blah. Just shut the hell up and watch the show. Enjoy it for what it is. It is entertainment. And just like you're not going to watch Game of Thrones and say, oh, you know what? If they don't have so-and-so on this episode, I'm just not going to watch it. Or if so-and-so don't do this, I'm not going to watch it. That is completely a retard mindset. And I really think that the younger generation, and that's just me getting older, I think some of the younger generations getting a lot dumber, a lot more spoiled. They can work a phone, but they don't have the common sense sometimes to even work a thermostat in an apartment complex. So I don't know. I believe that that's my rant and rave. I can go on all day about that. But in other words, just grow up. Like get with this idea of being accountable for yourself instead of relying on everybody else. So anyway.
Well, you know something, first of all, Ace, I mean, again, that gives you the opportunity to take care of what needs to be done on the Wrestle Talk podcast. And you know something, when it comes down to it, there's a lot of information, a lot of things that we can talk about each and every time. But you know something, as I said a couple minutes ago, we're a couple minutes now from going live. Mm-hmm. Bear with me 1 second. I got to look for something here real quick. I don't have it back here, but that's okay. I can take care of this. You know something? As we sit here and look at it, we're getting pretty close here of having our guests join us. Actually, you know what? No, I can take care of this. Bear with me. Okay. In just a moment, we're going to be joined by our guests from SICW. And I know for a fact that they're getting ready here. They're going to be joining us in just a minute. I really find this to be a very, very important interview to me. Because in pro wrestling, a lot of people say that you meet hundreds of thousands of people. The phrase has often been thrown out there. It's like Bon Jovi says, you see a million faces, only the names change. Mm-hmm. But there have been a few wrestlers and a few people that have said that you can count the true friends you've had in professional wrestling on one hand. And I'm going to tell you right now, the gentleman who's going to join us here tonight on the program is one of those individuals. And I'm going to tell you right now, we have been friends for many years. We've spent many a meal together. We've had the opportunity. And a matter of fact, this year, we had the opportunity to spend both Thanksgiving and Christmas together. We travel all across the country. When I finally broke down and took the advice of the likes of a TNT Kenny G and a Tom Simon and a Jim Yunt, I always looked at those who came before me in the wrestling industry. But this guy was always there, pushing me, saying, you need to go to CAC. You need to go to these things. You need to be a part of stuff. And again, when you look at his reputation, you look at the people, I've learned a lot. But when you sit down and look at it and you see a man who's had the opportunity to sit down and learn from the likes of Herb Simmons and the legendary Larry Matisick, that right then and there shows the reputation, the credibility of this man. And I'm going to say this right here. You see right here, I have this. I kept this from the Hall of Fame in 2025. I have my plaque here in my office. But I'm going to tell you right now, this man right now has such a knowledge base, has such a love for the sport of professional wrestling. And I'm not saying sports entertainment. I'm saying professional wrestling, because that's what we all fell in love with. Mm-hmm. When it comes down to it, I very well am going to say that this man is going to be, not just going to be, he is a future Hall of Famer. A lot of people talk about the term future legend. To me, this man has that legendary capability of doing so many great things in the industry. And again, tonight, on less than 30 minutes notice, he's able to step in and talk about all things SICW. So at this point, ladies and gentlemen, filling in for SICW promoter, longtime SICW promoter, Herb Simmons, Hall of Famer, CAC board member. Tonight, it is our honor and privilege to be joined, and I'm going to go ahead and hit some music so we can get ready to talk about a little bit of SICW with the one and only Dr. himself, Drew Adams. All right, Drew, welcome back to the Wrestle Talk Podcast. I'm going to tell you right now, true story. If I'm not mistaken, the last time Dr. Drew was on the program, he was a part of the very first announcers roundtable here on the Wrestle Talk Podcast with myself, Dr. Drew, and the one, the only Ben Simon. And I'm going to tell you right now, to have you back here on the program talking about SICW, it is, again, an honor and a privilege to have you back on the program. Good doctor.
The honor is all mine. I can't live up to that introduction. Holy cow, I appreciate you, good sir. This is my first time using this method that you sent me, just making sure you're hearing me loud and clear. We're all good?
You are A-OK, Dr. Drew. And
fantastic.
You know something right now, and again, I know you haven't necessarily had the opportunity to meet Ace, but I do want to share one thing to kind of get things. I mean, you hear all the time about how did you get into wrestling? How did you do this? How did you do that? I want to throw something up here. And again, this shows the long history and the respect that Dr. Drew has in the world of professional wrestling. And I'm going to tell you, we've had this discussion, and now he and I are very similar. And I want to throw this one up here.
There we go.
Can you give us a little bit about your opportunity, where this picture came from, and your experiences with WWE Hall of Famer, the one, the only, John Bradshaw Layfield?
Absolutely. That was an absolute honor. That was this year at the Missouri Athletic Club. JBL was the esteemed guest there. Great time. He was just a visitor. He was the guest there, signed some autographs, took some pictures for the people, gave Stephen E., the leader of Devastation Incorporated, a nice lariat. That's been a very cool thing. The Missouri Athletic Club is a beautiful building with a long history, and it's an honor to be affiliated with those guys. JBL was in that night, at least. He was just a fan. He was enjoying himself, and that was a neat thing. And in that occasion, he sat down and was watching some of the matches, and I was sitting next to him as the announcer, so took a opportunity to grab a quick selfie there. He was a gentleman, and it was very cool to run into JBL. And we might run into him again in the future. Big Nasty Glenn Williams has been making JBL a kind of a target, and Glenn Williams has been talking smack and calling out JBL fairly consistently in the last several months. And I believe JBL will have a message for Glenn, so stay tuned for that.
Well, Drew, I got to tell you right now, and first of all, I want to give you a shout out from a good friend of yours, Jim Harris.
Mr. Harris, good to see you, big time.
As we look at it, what's here, I mean, again, had an opportunity, in true story, ladies and gentlemen, had an opportunity when Dr. Drew, and again, I want to tell a little story here. We're going to talk SICW, but I do have to share a story. When I went to CAC, again, lots of people talking. First of all, let's give you a heads up. In one room, you have Luke Roberts, Dr. Drew, and the Night Owl himself, Rene Martinez. Right then and there, that's a recipe for some good times.
Absolutely right. I've got some fun pictures and videos rated PG, of course.
Well, you know something, and again, to give you an idea, the idea of being able to sit there and, I mean, just the people we got to see. I mean, I remember we were sitting there talking, and Drew kind of gave me the elbow, and we're sitting there looking what's going on, and seeing people like Rey Mysterio be in a table in front of us. The likes of being able to sit out and hang and socialize with JBL. Having the opportunity to meet up with Jerry Briscoe, man, I know you're very familiar with.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I got to watch you beat Cowboy Bob Orton in cribbage.
That is
Cribbage,
true.
right?
Again,
Is that what
that was one of the bucket list things. And Drew will tell you, we actually had a nice little audience there at the table when that took place because nobody expected Bob to lose. And I think since that point, I don't think Bob's lost.
No, he's won the cribbage tournament on multiple occasions. So to see you beat him, I didn't know if a fight was about to break loose or what, but he was a gracious opponent, and congratulations. That was very cool. And you got called up and got an award for that, right?
That's true, and I was proud of the fact that Medusa was very respectful of me, always was. And again, shout out to her. If you haven't had a chance to read her book too, you need to make it a point to get a copy of that. Great read. But the idea of where, well, we're there, Night Owl's talking trash. He's giving her the 3rd, 4th, and 5th degree. And I'm going to tell you, Night Owl was lucky to get out of Vegas after that, because Medusa's not a person that you want to pick a war of words with.
No, that's a bad woman.
And you know something real quick here? He was saying she was mean to me. Aww. I'm not even going to go there. But you know something, Drew? And I didn't get a chance to bring up a picture, but Ace, I want to ask you this. You would consider yourself a wrestling historian of sorts, am I correct?
Somewhat, yeah. Depends on what it is.
Okay. I've heard from some people, and I've seen some pictures. Most recently, one of the most recent episodes of SICW All-Star Wrestling, there was a picture of yourself and SICW promoter Herb Simmons.
Yes.
But there was also a picture, kind of a side-by-side, of, I believe it was Sam Mushnick and a man we talked about earlier on in an interview, Larry Matisick.
Yeah.
A lot of people have said that you very well are, in all honesty, the last protege, the last student of Larry Matisick. How does it feel to you? And I mean, I know you enjoy wrestling, you enjoy the sport. How does it feel for having people across the wrestling industry making comparisons to you and the late Larry Matisick?
It's surreal. What dipped my toe into the local scene specifically was SICW back in, I want to say 2012. Herb Simmons and Larry hosted an event at the Applebee's in Swansea. And I went to that just as a fan. They were putting all the Wrestling at the Chase videos on all of the TVs. And that was really my introduction to Herb and to Larry. And Herb still brings that up. So to just be a fan who got to know both of them. I got the invitation to be a ring announcer. They liked it enough that when Larry's health wouldn't allow him to do commentary anymore for the TV show, they let me step into that role. And I guess I did a good enough job at that I'm still doing it. So it's been a really neat thing. Cauliflower Alley Club, when Larry received his posthumous award, his wife, Pat Matisick, said in that speech, and I quote, "Drew, to you, Larry passes the torch, so hold it high." And that would really sunk in the legacy that I carry on every time I pick up a microphone or put on a headset. So my brain and my mouth doesn't work quite as quickly as Larry's did. He was razor sharp, and it sometimes takes the old brain a little minute to get the wheels turning. But I've done my best, and I guess I've done a good enough job. I'm still here. So it's been a cool thing. And Larry was a good guy. I've spent many hours on the phone with him. I've got hundreds of emails that I keep. I don't throw anything away to relive if I want to relive old moments. And we're grateful that nowadays whether it's YouTube or Facebook or whatever, there's tons of videos that are out there. If you want to see Larry and hear his voice again, there's plenty of opportunities to do that. And his books are phenomenal, and they're all available on Amazon. So if you want to read his stuff, check them out.
Well, you know something here, and you talk about that.
As you're going to show off, I imagine.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, after all, when
Drawing
you look
Heat
at
the
what's
Hard
here,
Way.
you say, Drawing Heat the Hard Way?
That's a fantastic book.
Excellent.
That's
book.
more for people that are on the inside. If you want to get a better glimpse of how wrestling works and how to operate things, and that's more for the smarter fan. Not that there's any such thing as less smart fans. They're all super smart. Yeah, the Brody book is fantastic. His Wrestling at the Chase book was fantastic. He wrote a book that is still, I don't know, it's in limbo about comparing working for Sam Muchnick to working under Vince McMahon, which he did for several years after Vince came and took over St. Louis. So anyway, Larry Matysik, one of a kind. He belongs in that elite group of announcers that I don't think he gets credit for. People talk about Jim Ross and Gordon Soley and Lance Russell. Larry Matysik really isn't mentioned in that group enough, and I think he should be. He called the action on his own most of the time with Mickey Garagiola next to him to lend a word sometimes, but big fan.
So if you was to take something you learned from him though and pass it on to somebody else to learn from you, what would that be though? Like something that stuck with you during that time that you would be like, you know what, this helped me, now this can help you.
That's an awesome question, and it's not even anything technical. I tend to overthink things, and I would always worry about everything, making sure I got it right. And Larry just said, ask questions if you have them, but most importantly, trust your own instincts because they're good. So that's the advice I've given to younger announcers. When I'm honored, and it blows my mind whenever anybody asks me for my advice on anything. I'm very honored and humbled. But just be yourself. Fans see through phoniness, and I see so many people try to be something that they're not. So, and it takes a while to get comfortable enough to really be yourself in front of an audience. But that's the advice I got, and that's what I would give. People really respect genuine people and authenticism. Is that a word? Authenticness? I don't know. But just be yourself. That shines through, and people really can connect to that. And I'm kind of the in-between between the company and the fans, and I always would like to think anyway I've earned the respect of the fans because I'm just me. I'm myself up there, and I've never tried to be something that I'm not. So
Yeah.
Well, Drew, as we always say, it's kind of an on-running thing here. You've known Herb, you've known SICW for 14 years. So for authenticism, I'm giving you 14 points.
I appreciate that. Out of how many?
Out of 14.
I'll take it.
You'll get the full credit on that. Now, I want to go ahead and talk about this great event that's coming up this coming Saturday. And again, if you have an opportunity here, I'm going to go ahead and try to hopefully be able to throw up the banner for the event this coming Saturday. Actually, let's go ahead here and hold on just a moment. We're actually going to throw it up here, but we're going to throw it up talking about one of the matches that's going to be taking place this coming Saturday. It's a rematch for the Classic Wrestling Championship. Now, I'm going to tell you this much. Being a wrestling announcer, being a broadcast journalist, as the late Bobby Heenan would say, this matchup right here is a matchup that a lot of people have been talking about.
Yeah.
And can you give the viewers here of the Wrestle Talk podcast just a little bit of background on the story, the trilogy, the history between Bobby D and Brandon Barrett?
You bet. Bobby D's been at the top of his game for several years now. You've known Bobby D for probably 20 years or more, and he's worked, and he never gave up, and he just kept at it, and eventually he reached the top of the pinnacle, taking that title from the 450-pound Kowalski at the beginning of the year. Bobby D, I call him a Swiss Army knife. He can fight, he can fly. He is an amateur wrestling expert. He is the coach, wrestling coach for the Belleville Little Devils, which is a youth wrestling league. They do wrestling, they do football and cheerleading for the Lady Little Devils. So Bobby's the man. He can do whatever it needs. He's a master technician and tactician. Brandon Beretta was a trainee of the Ace Wrestling Academy, learning under the great Cowboy Bob Orton. Brandon was a nice, polite young man, but he started to travel and branch out recently. He's worked for the NWA, he's worked for OVW, and he's gotten better and better, and he's gotten a little cockier and meaner as well. The last time they met, Bobby D had a weakened neck. He was on the receiving end of a pile driver from Axe Allwart earlier in the evening. Brandon Beretta took advantage of an injured Bobby D, hit a headlock driver onto a steel chair, defeated Bobby D, picked up the belt. Brandon Beretta is now the classic wrestling champion. Now Bobby D's all better. His neck is no longer injured, so this should be a fantastic match. I can't wait. And this is Bobby at 100%. This is Brandon at the best we've ever seen him. Brandon Beretta went up to Ohio and has been studying under EC3 for the last year, a little more than that. He actually moved up there. He's relocated. So Brandon Beretta has dedicated himself to the craft and the game. And this Saturday should be a heck of a rematch. Bobby D is a patient man. He's been waiting for his rematch, and now he gets it. Let's see if he can make the most of it.
Well, you know something, Drew? I'm going to tell you right now. And again, you brought it up, the idea of knowing Bobby D as long as I have. I mean, Bobby D, you name it, he can brawl, he can fly, he can mat wrestle, you name it.
Yeah. I've never seen Bobby have the same match twice. As somebody with the best seat in the house sitting at ringside, honestly, I shouldn't say this and to be biased, Bobby D is one of my favorite wrestlers. He's just, it's really fun to watch.
Well, you know something, though, and again, I have no ill will towards Bobby D. Bobby D is one of those that, as they say in the wrestling industry, he can go out there and wrestle with anybody.
And have you seen his chops? He chops harder than anybody.
He chops things. Like I said, I've seen him chop people hard enough. He could bust pieces of brick off a wall. He is that tough with those. But you know something? I got to tell you right now, to me, even at 100%, I'm worried for Bobby D this Saturday night because I think Brandon Beretta and I want your thought on this. Bobby D looking at Brandon Beretta, could Bobby D be looking at the Bobby D of the future in Brandon Beretta?
Interesting. This is a big statement. I think if Brandon Beretta sticks with it and dedicates himself and he avoids injuries for the next several years, Brandon, the sky's the limit for Brandon. He's a super fast learner. He has taken advantage of every opportunity he's been given. You and I both have seen tons of wrestlers that have potential, but then it goes to wayside because people get lazy. They're not willing to put in the miles on the highways. They're not willing to take the seminars that they need to take. And we've seen a lot of really talented people not achieve their potential because of whatever reasons. Your family can keep you local. You know, not everybody can travel and put everything into it. But Brandon is a fantastic young athlete. And I think a lot of people in this business have their eye on Brandon Beretta. Like I said, he's working for the NWA. He's on OVW's weekly television program more often than not, I believe, part of a group called The Trilogy with Jake Lawless and another gentleman that I don't remember his name. But Brandon is doing big things, and he's a super fast learner, and he's young. You see in WWE right now, you talk about the people on top, the Lesnars, the Jericho that might be coming back, CM Punk. These are all guys in their 40s. Jericho's in his 50s. Brandon Beretta is in his early 20s. So if he avoids any serious injuries and takes care of himself, this guy could have a very long future. And I hope he does. I wish his attitude was a little different. He's not so nice to the fans and not such an honorable gentleman as he used to be. But sometimes you got to make some enemies to move ahead in the world and in wrestling. So
that is very true, Drew. Very true. Now, I know for a fact that you talk about wrestlers who really have all the potential to move on up as they say, move on up the mountain, move on up the ladder in professional wrestling. I want to throw this picture up here because this picture, you've said it, I've said it, Chris Rodell has said it, Patrick Meyer said it. Anybody that's had the opportunity, Ben Simon has said stuff about it, has sat behind a microphone, has said something about this next picture I'm going to show you. And it happened recently at an SICW event. I want to go ahead and throw it up here. Well, maybe I want to throw it up here if the technology will cooperate. Is the idea of dysfunction coming in and taking it to Volatile Curtis Wilde and Billy McNeil. Yes. I got to ask you this. Looking at that picture, Drew, that matchup, do we see somewhere down the road after the issues that dysfunction has caused, and as the name says, the problems they've caused, the dysfunction, the chaos, the anarchy. What are your thoughts of dysfunction as it relates to picking a fight with anybody, Curtis Wilde and Billy McNeil, former, I believe, was almost 450 days as SIW tag team champions?
You bet.
Your thoughts on that? Because I mean, nobody even knew Exodus was in the building, to my understanding.
No, I wish they would have done things a little bit differently, but the way they did it certainly got people talking, and it maybe got them results. This was at a show at the Swansea Firehouse. It was a fundraiser for the first responders over in Swansea, and there was a commotion at the door. We look over, and it is those three gentlemen. It is Brandon Espinosa, Kyle Roberts. Is that correct? Is that his name?
No relation to Luke Roberts, by the way.
Sorry? No relation. Yeah. And Chris Exodus. This dysfunction group, I understand there's 8 or 9 of those guys, but those are the 3 that showed up on that occasion. We're very familiar with Brandon Espinosa. He's well known in the St. Louis area and beyond. I'm not too familiar with Kyle Roberts. I know he trained and came out of WLW, the under Harley Race banner. And Chris Exodus is one of the youngest, hungriest competitors in the area. They went right after Curtis Wilde and Billy McNeil. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know what their goal is. I don't know what their intentions are. We've got a show this Saturday, and we've got TV tapings on Sunday. So I guess we will know more after this weekend what their goals are. Maybe. I don't even know. Maybe they just wanted to cause a little trouble one night, but we shall see. On a personal level, Chris Exodus, I know, has idolized Billy McNeil for many years, as many people have. I don't know why he chose to attack him on this night, but the match hasn't been made yet. I would love to see Billy McNeil versus Chris Exodus. That would be a fantastic match.
Oh, most definitely. I think there's a lot of fans in St. Louis that would be clamoring to buy that ticket. Now, I'm going to level with you. Earlier in the show, my broadcast colleague Ace brought up this picture. And Ace, I'm going to bring it up, and then I'm going to let you ask about it, because as soon as he saw it, he couldn't help but smile. Bring up the picture right now.
So what's the deal with this one here now? Because I got to ask, when I pulled that up, it was like, all right, that brought some heat. So
yeah.
Explain this one. What's going on with this one here now?
That's what Glenn Williams does. Glenn Williams is a extremely charismatic gentleman. He uses that to the wrong effect sometimes, but Glenn, he's got somehow or another, he's purchased TV time on our TV show, SICW All-Star Wrestling. You find that on YouTube. And every week for the past 2 or so months, Glenn Williams has had 5 or 6 minutes to entertain or annoy, irritate. I don't know. In his mind, he's entertaining people. But Glenn Williams, he calls folks out. He's got his mentorship. He thinks he's training the young kids to be more like him. So look out. Glenn Williams is another graduate of the Ace Wrestling Academy. He's someone whose in-ring ability, I will say, left a little bit to be desired when he first started, but his charisma and his personality has really outshined everything, and it's earned him all of his spots, and it's gotten him a lot of attention. And he has improved tremendously. He's worked very hard. He's kept on the grind, And Glenn Williams is a one-of-a-kind wrestler, and we'll see what happens. He's shooting his shot pretty high. He thought he was going to take on the Big Texan in a lariat contest. Of course, Big Texan is our local master of the lariat. That did not go so well. Now he's calling out JBL. So I'm not sure that's wise, but it's good to have lofty goals, I suppose.
Well,
And since this is kind of a look at behind the scenes, Glenn talks about this, so I'm not telling tales out of school. Glenn Williams, once upon a time, was addicted to heroin. He ended up homeless at one point in his life, and he's really focused. He's gotten himself together. He set his sights on new goals. He's kicked all of those bad habits aside. So, on a side note, Glenn is a really special guy, and we'll see how his sometimes overconfidence. They say confidence is good, but if you let it turn into cockiness, that can be a bad thing. And we'll see how his story unfolds. But Glenn Williams is really a fascinating human being, and we'll see where that takes him.
Well,
I don't want to give him too many compliments, but he's really overcome a lot in his personal life, and I think that's really admirable. And it's he's been a good member to have in the locker room. New people show up, and they're good at things, and it keeps all the older members of the roster on their toes. So,
well, you know something, Drew? I look at it this way, and again, I know, like I said, we brought up the graphic earlier, and now he's going to blow up the feed here in a minute. You know who Glenn Williams reminds me a little bit of? Reminds me of the late Nick Bockwinkel. In the idea
that's a new one, but we'll go with it. Let's hear it.
The idea of where a lot of people back in the day weren't overly enthused about what Nick Bockwinkel would do in the ring because he was so technically gifted. He knew what needed to be done in the ring. But it's one of those things of where there's just something about him and the way he presents himself and just that kind of having that attitude that I know I'm good at what I do.
Sure.
And when it comes down to it, I mean, again, he's gone from being with at one point, and this is, again, looking at it now, it's hard to believe at one point he associated himself with Sean Vincent, a member, I believe, of the Gateway Saints now.
Yes.
To go from that avenue, and we're going to go ahead and bring up talking about this coming Saturday. We're bringing up that he's going to be competing for the Central States Championship against James Jeffries, a man that you and I have both had an opportunity to see. Actually, a matter of fact, had an opportunity to speak with him recently on the program, and the last time I went to the Tragos Hall of Fame as a part of the wrestling event. Can you tell us a little bit about what we can look forward to this coming Saturday between these two guys?
Sure. It's just like Bobby D and Brandon Beretta. It's a long-awaited rematch. It was at the Thez Tragos Hall of Fame. Glenn Williams was the Central States champion, defending against James Jeffries in a lumberjack match. And in front of a really great crowd up in Iowa, James Jeffries defeated Glenn Williams to become the Central States champion. There was some interference. Bill DeMott was involved. Baron Von Raschke got involved. D'Lo Brown was there. They were all lumberjacks in this match. So James Jeffries has been proudly defending that title for the last several months. Glenn Williams, who is the current tag team champion, has been waiting his rematch, and he gets it this Saturday. We will see what happens. So, no, we've been very proud to have James Jeffries as the Central States champion. Of course, James Jeffries also the 2025 Bruiser Brody Memorial Battle Royal winner. So he's been the proud owner of the Brody Cup and the Central States champion for the last several months. Very proud of James Jeffries. He's a fan favorite. Can't wait to see him again. I'm a big James Jeffries fan.
Well, you know something, Drew, and again, when you talk about those that have held that Central States championship, I mean, again, I always go back and I make a lot of comparisons between James Jeffries and the inaugural champion, that being Night Train Gorgeous Gary Jackson.
Okay.
And the idea where both men create that championship with prestige. They traveled all around the Midwest. They were defending that championship. They were giving it the lineage that championship in the SICW deserves. And again, this is going to be a great matchup this Saturday in Belleville, Illinois, when you get to see these two men, as they say, hook it up. one
Yes,
more
sir.
time for that championship gold. Now, real quick here before we move on, I want to go ahead and give you the opportunity, and we actually want to go ahead and bring up the actual complete show graphic. For those that are going to be in the Belleville area this weekend, tell us a little more about our upcoming event for SICW this coming Saturday night.
Yes, sir. Doors open at 6. Show starts at 7 o'clock. I can't give you exact matches because, as always, cards subject to change. But you can expect to also see Curtis Wild, #trending, Trent Daniels, Billy McNeil's in the house. Big Texan, of course. Here's going to be I don't think this match has been announced, and if it doesn't happen, cards subject to change as always. But Billy McNeil should be taking on the Roughneck Joey O'Reilly in a match that I personally am greatly looking forward to. Gateway Saints in the house. Axe Allwart will be there. The Iron Pitbull, Kenny Kingston, Night Train, Gary Jackson, Peyton Ayers. Flash Flanagan will be back with us. The legend Flash Flanagan will all be with us. And it's for a great cause. It's for the St. Clair County Animal Services. So all the folks in St. Clair County that rely on folks, they work with shelters, they work with different places. If there's dogs and kitty cats out there that are on their bad luck and they need a hand, then the St. Clair County Animal Services take care of them. They take care of all sorts of things under that banner. So come on out. This is a fundraiser for the Animal Services group. So it's not just supporting the wrestling company, folks. Come on out this Saturday to the Belle Claire Fairgrounds in Belleville, Illinois. And you can help make some kitty cats and some dogs who may be down on their luck right now. You can make their lives a little better. And I'm not sure exactly the details. It would be a neat thing. You talked about it earlier with me. It would be cool if they might have a dog or two there and for, available for adoption. I don't know if that's a thing, but that would be a great idea to have a mascot out there. But they help. The money helps the responders, for animals that are out there. They help come and catch animals that are out running around. They give them shelter. They're everything you can imagine that your local agency helps animals that don't currently have a home. They take care of that. So and as we know, funding for these sorts of things is not great. They're not rolling in money. A lot of that kind of stuff is volunteer work, and a lot of these animal shelters are really overflowing right now. So come on out, and all the money that we are making is going to St. Clair Animal Services. So even if you don't love wrestling, everybody loves dogs and cats, right? So come on out, and your money really will go to an amazing cause this Saturday.
Oh, yeah. And if y'all see Susie Hoss there, she's just trying to get adopted. She's getting desperate, so just ignore her, send her home,
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Herb Simmons, even though he's been taking care of matters outside of the SICW world, outside of the Wrestle Talk podcast, he has confirmed there will be dogs and cats in the house this Saturday.
That's awful. I have to concentrate on announcing and stuff. What? How am I supposed to concentrate with dogs and cats to play with? My goodness. But yeah, come on out. That's an even extra reason to come on out this Saturday. You can maybe meet your future forever furry friend. So come on out, and that would be an amazing thing.
Okay, they're not going to try to use the animals in the matches, right? I mean, couldn't you imagine like somebody just letting a dog loose on somebody?
It's pro wrestling. Anything could happen, right?
It could. I mean, it could happen.
It happened. It happened at WrestleMania, guys. Remember the situation with the British Bulldogs and the Islanders?
Wrestling. So yeah, you might as well use one.
Just like Luke Roberts' camera, anything can happen. It's unpredictable. But quickly, we jumped right into it when we started. Let me just say, I know Herb really was looking forward to being here with you. It's just he's a very busy man. Not only is he in charge of running SICW, he's the mayor of his hometown. He is the chairman of a lot of different boards and stuff over in his neck of the woods. So that's the busiest man I know. He gets up and puts on dress clothes every morning and is moving from morning till night. So he wanted to be here, and he regrets not being able to be with you, gentlemen, but it's an honor for me to fill in. I hope it's been somewhat entertaining. And it's like I said, we jumped right into it. I just want to say hello, all the Wrestle Talk fans out there. It's been a minute. Thank you, everybody, for supporting this great show. All the Wrestle Talk, and another big announcement. That's right. I might know something about that.
We're keeping you. We guys said, I don't know if you got the memo, but Herb's got more stuff, and that's one of the things we love about us.
I wanted to say hi to Ace too. I never met Ace. I was listening to the first hour of the show. It was a great chat, and it's nice to meet you, sir.
Oh, nice meeting you, man. It's been a pleasure.
You bet.
Well, you know something, guys. I'm a level with you here. When it comes to professional wrestling, it comes to the history, and just to let you know, yes, Drew, we're going to work out the idea of where we can get things ready for the Rumble, because we all know the Royal Rumble is the start of the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And for a fact, that's one of those. I want to say it's been 5 or 6 years now, at least, that when it comes to the Rumble and WrestleMania, Drew and I are always making it a point to enjoy the festivities that take part in those two major events.
Yeah, for sure.
But you know something, Drew?
Wrestling's fun, but we're older now, and most of these shows, like Raw last night, I tuned into Raw. I don't always follow a lot of modern wrestling, but it was a big show, but it's not quite as fun as when you're hanging out with buddies. So WrestleMania and Royal Rumble, it's always fun to hang out with Luke Roberts and Miss Amber Roberts. I don't do we call her that? And your puppy dogs. It's always a great time. Wrestling's a lot more fun when you enjoy it with friends. So
very true. And again, having the opportunity, and again, with the things we look at here, I mean, we've had the likes of it, and Ace, I'm going to warn you, this is Luke and Drew going down memory lane. Having the likes, I mean, when we have get-togethers, it's the likes of having the Chris Rodells, having the Patrick Brandmeyers, having the Gary Weiss. Yeah, shout out to Gary Weiss. Doesn't get enough credit for all the running around that he's done with the two of us in the course of tons of years. But I mean, again, a lot of people who've had the opportunity to come out and enjoy. Again, just because we're behind a microphone doesn't mean that we don't enjoy and love the sport of professional wrestling.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You know, I got on good authority here that, Drew, you are some would dare say an aficionado when it comes to the Royal Rumble.
Oh, I don't know about that, but we'll see where this goes. We'll see where this goes.
Well, here's what's up. Ace wanted me, as you know, we have every episode we have the Wrestle Talk Podcast, the world famous Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. And tonight we're going to go ahead, and if you're willing to participate, I know Ace is, we're going to have a topic, and I'm going to kind of give a little bit of a spoiler. Tonight's topic is going to be related to the Royal Rumble. Would you be willing to participate in our contest this evening?
I'm here for whatever. Let's go.
All righty. Well, at this point, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and hit the introduction for this week's installment of the world famous Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's installment of the world famous Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. Tonight's contest is scheduled for the best 2 out of 3 falls, and our competitors are the Wrestle Talk Podcast Ace and the man who many would say is going to be one day a St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Famer in his own right, Dr. Drew Abenhouse. Gentlemen, tonight's contest, as we talked about just a few moments ago, is going to be on WrestleMania Royal Rumble winners.
Ooh, okay.
That being the idea of where these individuals have won the Royal Rumble. When you think you know the answer, shout it out. First one to win 2 out of 3 falls wins tonight's contest.
What do we win?
You win the adulation of the Wrestle Talk Podcast family.
I'll take it.
There you are. All right, gentlemen, here is question number 1. Many people believe that the first person to win back-to-back Royal Rumbles was the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. But that is not true. This individual won the 1990 and 1991 Royal Rumbles. Name it.
Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan is correct. Drew with the first fall. We're going to be moving on here to the second fall. Are you ready, Drew?
As ready as we're gonna be.
All right, Ace, are you ready?
I mean, it's clicking, but it might take a minute. Go ahead.
All right. In 1993, the WWF made it a reward for the winner of the Royal Rumble to get a guaranteed title opportunity in the main event at WrestleMania. Who was the first person to get that opportunity?
Yokozuna.
That is correct. Dr. Drew, 2 falls to none. Ace, now I'm going to level with you.
He's quick. Okay.
Sorry.
Well, that's okay.
You're
Now,
good.
here is the question, the third and final question. Now, Ace, I know this is your chance to catch up. Okay? The third and final question. In Royal Rumble history, how many times have there been co-winners?
Twice.
Incorrect.
No, really? Wait. Co-winners. Let's see. You had.
Was it just the once?
One time is correct. I know where you were going with that, Ace. If you remember, it was never announced that both Batista and John Cena won.
I had that in my head. It was co-winners, and I was like, never mind. They restarted that. Yeah. Okay. I got you.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
I was thinking it was 2 also, because that's what I was thinking. But
ladies and gentlemen, with 3 straight falls, a sweep, if you will, here on tonight's program.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Drew coming through in the clutch as he always does. And Drew, just to give you a heads up, we're going to go ahead and give you a little bit of victory music for you.
Uh-oh.
Oh, maybe. Oh, it does help if I hold on one second here. Again, technology's been going wonderful. Now, I think we can do it this way. And while we're at it, I have to say, and I'm going to put this one out here, to put it simply, when it comes down to the game show challenge, Ace.
Never drew a dime. Not a dime.
Oh,
Not a
and
dime.
3.
Never drew a dime. Not a dime. Not a dime. Never.
I'm getting old, man. That's what it is. It takes a little longer for it to click. And it's like, okay, you know the answer, and it's right there, but it just don't come out as quick.
I hear that. I'm better at older stuff, too. Call me back when you do, like, Von Erich trivia.
Oh, we could be here all day with Von Erich trivia.
I love it.
There's so much cool Von Erich trivia.
Let me give you one quick Royal Rumble piece of trivia. The first technical Royal Rumble, and it's not really considered that was here in St. Louis. It was part of a show they did. I think there was only 16 or 17 people in it, but it was won by the one-man gang here in St. Louis. It's not publicized. I don't think it was recorded at all. A lot of people say what John Studd, I think, was the first Royal Rumble winner, but it was kind of a trial run here in St. Louis, but it was won by the one-man gang.
And to look at it too, that can be verified, because if you look at it, and again, who knows where it is now because of the whole changeover to Netflix and taking things off of Peacock, and now they're now on YouTube, or they're on Netflix, or who knows where they are. But I mean, again, that was one of those where it ultimately led to that matchup with the one-man gang winning it, wound up leading to getting its own event. And to give you an idea too, if you remember, one-man gang was the second to last, or was the runner-up in the very first Royal Rumble, eventually losing to the winner, Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
There you go.
So, all right,
I've got that newspaper clipping somewhere. So,
one thing, and I know we're gonna wrap things up here in just a minute, but I'm going to tell you right now, when you want to talk about wrestling historians, and Drew and I have had the opportunity to see a lot of them. One that pops into my head is our good friend Brian Westcott out on the West Coast. Drew, I gotta tell you this. One of the coolest things that Drew has, I mean, I feel I got a lot of cool masks. I got my all-in poster that I won when I was at the Tragos Thez a couple years ago. Drew has a piece of wrestling memorabilia from the world-class era that just amazes me. Can you share a little bit about that little piece, and I mean literally that little piece of history that you have in your collection of wrestling history?
Oh, happy to. You're lucky I'm not downstairs, or else I could I'll show off all sorts of neat things. It was famed collector, historian, whatever. His name is West Potter. West Potter was featured on one of those episodes of WWE, Treasures or whatever it was, where they went and anyway, West Potter went down to the sportatorium on the site and dug into the ground and got up pieces of the foundation, the stone foundation. He broke them up into little smaller pieces. So I do have a little small piece of the foundation of the sportatorium in Dallas with a certificate of authenticity and all of that stuff too. So,
and again, that's one of the things too, when you really get into true wrestling fans. I mean, again, there's a lot of people that enjoy and collect t-shirts and things like that. Drew and I have acquired over the course of our time. And Drew, as crazy as it sounds, you're almost nearing your 15-year anniversary.
Yeah, that is crazy.
This doesn't even seem like it, but there are some, I mean, when you talk about things, you talk about that. You talk about WrestleFest. You have the opportunity, a man that he and I both talked to on a couple occasions at CAC, a gentleman by the name of Jeff Manning, having an opportunity to take us out when we were out in the greater Portland area and starting to see the area around the, I believe it was the Rose Garden out there in Portland. Our good friend, Bulldog Bob Brown Jr., Stuart Kemp, having an opportunity to catch us up on things here. Having the opportunity, I mean, Drew,
Hold on. What is it? What does that mean? Bulldog Bob Brown Jr.
That was his ring name for years upon years.
Oh, I know Stewart. I didn't know that.
And like I said, it's I actually have his business card. And again, the Night Owl stepping in. This is very much true. And guys, I'm going to tell you right now.
Thank you, Renee. You're the man. Hope to see you soon.
Down to things, and I got one more question before we wrap this all up. And I'm going to pose this to all three because we are broadcast journalists. I mean, I know you're taking your correspondence courses for the Heenan School of Broadcast Journalism, Ace. But right now, Drew and I are working on our doctoral theses. Theses. I'd have to.
I am Dr. Drew.
That is true. So
I'm already.
When it comes down to it, I'm going to put it this way: local, national. Who would you want to sit side by side with you in the commentary booth? Local, national. I'm going to start local. I've had the opportunity to pretty much broadcast with everybody except one. And that's the man at the bottom of the screen, Dr. Drew Abenhouse. On a national level, and you're going to find this strange, I would have loved to have been side by side with Lance Russell. I think Lance Russell was a phenomenal commentator. Another one that I think would have been good, a lot of people would say Gordon Soley. Another one that just recently passed away was the late Bob Caudle.
I love Bob Caudle.
I mean, a lot of great commentators.
We could turn this into a whole nother segment. I could go on and on about why Bob Caudle's fantastic. But that's
so, Drew, I'm going to put it this way. Since you are the good doctor, you have graduated with all your doctoral documentation from the Heenan School of Broadcast Journalism, locally and nationally. Who would you want to sit side by side with you in the commentary booth?
I don't even know. I don't know. You put me on the spot with that one. Nationally, I really like Mike Tenay. He is a wealth of knowledge. And since I've been in kind of the lead spot recently, having somebody to take care of all of the little factoids and trivia and information would be pretty great. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anybody. You would be great. We would work well together. Like you said, I've done commentary with so many local wrestlers, people like Patrick Brandmeier. I've done commentary with wrestlers like Thunderbolt Patterson was my commentary partner on a couple episodes a few months ago. I've done it with Herb Simmons. I did it with Larry Matisic. I've done it with all the Ron Powers, the Danny Boy Hawkins of the world. I've done it with Big Nasty Glenn Williams, who is very entertaining. So I don't know. I guess you would be about the only one left locally.
Hey, give you an idea, ladies and gentlemen. Jimmy, give him a shout out here, checking us out for the first time here. Thank you for joining us here this evening.
Good to see you, sir.
You got an opportunity here. If you were able to be at the commentary table, I mean, you are the owner of Doomed Outfitters. You are a part of the FWWC. You have a very strong connection to the world of professional wrestling.
Got a good voice too.
That is true. That is true. And guys, I can't believe it. I thought new year, new thought, new resolution, and the snitch still shows up.
Oh,
Hey, snitch.
yeah.
I'm going off the air.
I'd like to say hi, but I don't know who you are. Best man.
True. That is true.
Hi, snitch, whoever that is.
Like I said, it seems like I've been gone for 6 months, and he just mysteriously appears. I don't ask. I had to do that because if not, then knowing my luck, I'm going to wind up in trouble. Ace, if you had the opportunity to be in the commentary booth, who would you choose?
Just based on this experience, I'd say one of you two local, right? I mean, this is good. The chemistry, everything's good. From a national level, and I know it sounds extremely weird, Vince McMahon. Do y'all remember when Vince McMahon used to sit there and it was like him and Macho Man and all them? Man, I loved it. Just the way he portrayed it, the way he done everything. It would be fun to just sit there with Vince McMahon and call matches and really get into it like that. Because you got somebody who not only owns the business, that knows the business, but from a commentary standpoint was actually way better than people give him credit for. I say Vince McMahon.
Vince and Jesse Ventura were a pretty great duo.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the question. Vince and Jesse or Gorilla and Jesse?
Oh, Gorilla and Jesse, hands down.
Yep.
I think I'd have to agree with that one on that, gentleman. Drew,
Jesse Ventura would just screw with Vince nonstop, but Jesse had a level of respect for Gorilla where he stayed slightly in line. He wasn't quite as over the top as he was. I'm not sure that Jesse Ventura really liked Vince McMahon. They've got all sorts of issues in the past about Jesse trying to start a union. And so there was some contentiousness there. And I think Jesse just tried to screw with Vince. But he respected Gorilla Monsoon. So you got a really cool dichotomy there. I love that stuff. I'll listen to those two all the time.
Well, Drew, you just brought something up here too. And again, talking about this is Wrestle Talk going off the rails here a little bit. I remember you talking about Jesse Ventura behind the commentary table. I was watching the very first very first Survivor Series, and I remember him. They were doing like a not necessarily an intermission, but kind of like a middle of the show, about 4 or 5 minutes of just conversation between the two. And here's Jesse Ventura with his headset on, with his head wrap on, and wearing a pilgrim hat on top of it all.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can't sit there. I mean, again, Jesse was great behind a microphone. Don't get me wrong. Phenomenal man behind a mic. But you add those little things to just kind of jab at you a little bit. That's the one. And I agree with you 100%. I really do.
When this show's over, fans and anybody still watching that might be interested it was either the very late 80s or very early 90s. Roddy Piper and Jesse Ventura actually filmed a pilot for a TV show where they were both police officers.
Yep.
And I think it was called Tag Team or something like that. But if just Google Roddy Piper, Jesse Ventura TV pilot, it's on YouTube. It's worth 45-50 minutes of your time.
That is very true, Drew. Real quick, just as a reminder, and we're going to throw it up here one more time. For those that want to catch SICW and also have an opportunity to help out such a great cause this coming Saturday night, I'm going to go ahead and throw the graphic up one more time. And for those that want to catch SICW this Saturday, let's go ahead here and give them one last chance to get all the info.
All right, I'm going to do a really, really fast, quick plug for our next few things. This Saturday, Belle Claire Fairgrounds, 2 rematches, 2 title matches. Brandon Beretta versus Bobby D, James Jeffries versus Glenn Williams. It is a fundraiser for the St. Clair County Animal Services, so you can help raise some money for the local cats and dogs that are a little down on their luck and could use some happiness and some joy and some love. That is going to be this Saturday, January the 10th, Belle Claire Fairgrounds. If you are there Saturday, that ticket gets you in to our TV tapings the next day, absolutely free. We do TV tapings the Sunday following. That'll be January 11th, Sunday afternoon. TV tapings start at noon. Doors open around 11 o'clock at the East Carondelet Community Center. We film 4 episodes of TV, and you should come out and be a part of our studio audience. That would be awesome. February, big shows the 7th, and of course TV tapings on the 8th. And then February the 21st, this is one I want to give a little attention to. We are returning to the Ionide Shriners Temple in East St. Louis, and it's a fundraiser for the Shriners. The Shriners work so hard on giving back to the community. The Shriners do so much. So this is your opportunity to help make some money for the Shriners. The Shriners Temple is an amazing building. I don't know how long it's been there. Decades. I'm talking back into the 30s, 40s, maybe before that. I need to find that out. I'm not sure. Kings, queens have visited that Shriners Temple. That's going to be February the 21st at 2 p.m. Afternoon show at the Shriners Temple. You will find out more information about that as we get closer to that date. Follow Herb Simmons on Facebook. Follow SICW All-Star Wrestling on Facebook. I'm Drew Abbenhouse. Follow me on Facebook for more information about all of these things as they approach.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. The one, the only, the good doctor, Dr. Drew Abbenhouse stepping in here. And Drew, I'm going to tell you right now, you talk about a lot of great things. Also want to give one more plug. You and I both, every time we get on the air, to remind people, for those that haven't had the opportunity and really enjoy pro wrestling, make it a point. I believe it's the second full weekend in July, the Tragos Hall of Fame in Waterloo, Iowa. I know for a fact it's looking like Luke Roberts is going to be punching his ticket to head up there. Hopefully the good doctor will be joining us. And again, of course, in mid-August out at the Plaza Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada, the Cauliflower Alley Club reunion, an opportunity to meet great people, have a great time, and really get to have that true pro wrestling experience at the Plaza Hotel.
Those are 2 fantastic organizations that give back to pro wrestling. So they both have annual memberships. Check out their respective websites. Cauliflower Alley Club helps out a lot of people in the wrestling business that are down on their luck, whether it's medical bills, housing expenses, anybody that's been involved in the wrestling business that needs a little assistance. The Cauliflower Alley Club is there to take a little bit of burden off of their shoulders. So what an amazing thing. And you get something for it. 4 times a year, they will send you The Ear, which is their newsletter, which Luke Roberts is reaching for right now, I think. There it is. And that'll keeps you up to date on all sorts of neat things. So cac.org, I want to say, or caulifloweralleyclub.org is their website. You can find all that stuff on Google or Facebook. If that's not the exact thing, you know how to find it, folks. And the Thez Tragos Hall of Fame is fantastic. And what's up, Jeffrey Wilson? Good to see you, buddy.
Jeff Wilson joining us here on the program. And again, one thing too, as a reminder, Sunday, July 19th, Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, class of 2026. Information on that is going to be coming out here very, very soon.
You can't drop any hints about that tonight, huh?
Nah, I'm not going to be able to drop any hints tonight, but I'm going to tell you this, Drew. And you and I have had the conversation
off air, maybe
on the last program. In the next couple days, a major announcement. You want to talk pro wrestling history in St. Louis? Keep your ears tuned to the Wrestle Talk podcast. Keep your ears tuned to the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame social media accounts, because it will be taking the next step, the next evolution, if you will, of the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame will be taking place in the next couple days. Make sure to keep it on social media. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the one, the only, the good doctor himself, Dr. Drew Abbenhouse, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing all the great wrestling fans this coming Saturday in Belleville, Illinois, for SICW Wrestling live at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. Ace, nice to meet you. Luke, we'll be in touch. Much love to all the wrestling fans out there. And I'll steal a line from Bill Apter as I get out of here. Folks, we'll see you at the matches.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Dr. Drew Abbenhouse joining us here on the program this evening. Ace, I got to tell you, man, I was not nervous. As soon as I got that message from Herb saying that he got called away, as soon as I knew Dr. Drew was in the bullpen, I knew full well everything was taken care of. Everything was ready to rock and roll. And tonight, the good doctor delivered as he always does.
Oh, that's awesome. And it's great to have. And it says a lot about his character and just him as a person to be able to just right then and there pop up and say, you know what, I got you back. And that says a lot, and especially for, our show and what we do. Stuff, we don't know how it's going to turn out. People fall out, real quick, something happens and they're not able to show up. And to have somebody just step in like that says a lot about him. So
very true. Very, very true. And ladies and gentlemen, again, we want to give a shout out to all the those that have been viewing the show tonight. Make it a point, hashtag WTP, hashtag Let's Talk Wrestling. But before we go, we need to go ahead real quick, and I'm going to go ahead and throw them up here on the screen one more time. We need to make sure that we thank all of our great sponsors of the Wrestle Talk podcast. So give me just a minute here. I want to make sure that we've got everything taken care of. And, of course, now we're going to have to take care of things here. Hold on just a second.
Wow,
we are good to go now.
Go ahead.
The Wrestle Talk podcast would like to thank all of its great sponsors, Retro Stone, Painter's Dream Productions, home of the one, the only Big Daddy P, the independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, Doomed Outfitters. If you want to get anything personalized for the world of professional wrestling or anything in general, check them out online. The WDWA World Domination Wrestling Alliance and the FWWC, the world's premier fantasy wrestling group. I got to tell you right now, guys, from top to bottom, a great show here tonight. Make sure to check out WDWA Elevation, which will be taking place next Tuesday night at this time. Ace, do you have anything you want to share about the FWWC before we call it an evening?
We actually have our FED program coming up. If y'all don't know anything about the FED, that's our development program. We have a program coming right here in a couple of weeks here in January. The official card will be released here soon. Everybody pay attention to the FWWC Tonight, episode 3 of the premiere of the FWWC Tonight. Will air here in about 2 weeks, and we'll go over the official card, all the matches. But it's our development group facing a crossover to our main roster. So if you don't understand what that means, that is our development group, basically like NXT taking on Raw. And these are guys that are going to new season as main roster. This is going to be the last hurrah as the development class of 2025. So huge congratulations to everybody stepping up from the FED onto the main roster. Looking forward to having them on the main roster and looking forward to what we are calling the proving grounds for the FED. So look forward for that. And like I said, tune in to the FWWC Tonight here in about 2 weeks.
And also as a reminder, make it a point and check them out here on Facebook. You can make it a point, check out the Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide chapter. You can also hashtag Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide chapter, hashtag FWWC. And lastly, of course, I want to make sure we talk about this. It's something near and dear to my heart, just like our broadcast colleague, the one, the only, the maestro, Jeremy Karp. If you ever feel as though you have problems, you have things, the world's kind of getting to be too tough for you at times, remember, you're never alone. You got friends, you got family, you got people that are willing to listen. If you ever need it, dial 988. That's the number for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Again, you're never alone. And as Jeremy says, life is a book full of empty pages. All you got to do is fill them up.
That's right.
And I'll tell you right now, again, for any additional information on the Wrestle Talk podcast, again, just throwing it out here as a reminder, you can use the hashtag WTP. You can use the hashtag Let's Talk Wrestling. You can also find us on all forms of social media. Ladies and gentlemen, as we look right here real quick, just as a reminder, as the Night Owl always says here, make it a point to like and share the Wrestle Talk podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude our show for this evening. I am, of course, the one, the only Luke Skywalker Roberts. And, of course, I'm always joined by Ace right here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. We look forward to seeing everybody here in 2 weeks, and we'll see you back here next week for WDWA elevation.
Yes, sir.